A week is about 12 days. There are apparently no months tabulated, but the year is divided into 4 quarters, something like the seasons. Their sense of time is quite different from ours. They practice none of the hurry-scurry which is so prevalent here. Thus there is no constant clock watching, or the tensions which such a practice produces. Here again is a similarity to the Chinese, that is, there is always tomorrow, a familiar Chinese adage. Not that it should be construed that they are a lazy or indolent race, from it. They are very industrious, but mark each day by their accomplishments and not with the passing of hours. Just in the event that there may be individuals who may take personal resentment, or a wrong view of any comparisons which have been made as to forms of government, etc., for the record let it be said, I consider myself just as much a loyal staunch American as any other citizen. My parents and grandparents were all pioneers and helped carve out of the wilderness what is now known as the state of Utah. Moreover, my views on present-day political systems are comparatively average. As a philosopher and scientist, however, I might point out, as others have, many obvious flaws which are a matter of present-day concern. It is the task of our legislative bodies to anticipate and to circumvent such flaws. The Constitution is, in its entirety, a very wonderful document which expresses very highly evolved concepts of living. Such documents and governments resulting from them are, however, effective to the relative degree in which the so-governed people integrate them. The end result therefore devolves upon each individual so participating. The fact that there are 21 amendments proves the correctness of this reasoning. We must always remember that at no time in life should we ever assume we have reached perfection. We must always visualize an infinite universe in which perfection is only relative. We must not become restless or dissatisfied with what we have. Rather, let us be thankful to our Creator for each daily manifestation of His love and abundance, always secure in the knowledge that He will always so manifest. Our forefathers and those who helped carve out this great nation had such idealism and faith. Because we have countless conveniences which they do not, we must not lose our initiative to keep pushing back the frontiers of ignorance, fear and insecurity. Our present civilization, good as it is in some respects, leaves much to be desired. It has been the purpose of L, the people of Mars and myself to bring you some understanding of their ways of life, hoping thus to bring about, not only among the nations of the world, but future interplanetary relationships which are harmonious and conducive to a better way of life. We all salute you and wish you infinite love, wisdom and peace. Addenda. Shortly after writing this article there appeared in the Saturday Review, on May 28, 1955, an article written by Drive. Robert S. Richardson, astronomer at Mount Palomar, which refers to the findings of the International Committee on Mars, which closed its fourth conference on March 25, 1955. There are several interesting statements made, on which I will comment. Mr. Richardson states the consensus of opinion is that there is life on Mars, or that it could exist. This is at least some progress in the right direction. Also he is quite correct about the deserts. Most of the surface of the planet is semi-arid wastelands. It is, however, incorrect to say there is no oxygen there. The presence of the green Maria, which he called sponge-like algae, proves the presence of oxygen, although in a comparatively rare state. As everyone knows, oxygen is necessary in the breathing cycle of any plant which contains chlorophyll. Oxygen on Mars is about 10% of the density of the Earth's oxygen, as was stated in the aforementioned article. This sponge-like algae is found growing along the edges of the snowbanks and often attains a height of 40 to 50 feet. It dries up with the vanishing of the snow caps and regrows the following spring. What the doctor states regarding water on Mars is very true. It is very scarce and the people of the underground cities take great pains to conserve every gallon of it. As to the temperatures, that is still a matter of conjecture. It is a very tricky business to measure heat over 35 millions of miles distance. Moreover, surface temperatures do not affect the inhabitants of the underground cities, as they are completely pressurized and conditioned with temperatures maintained at a comfortable level. The most surprising part of the entire article was that there was absolutely no mention of the famous canals of Mars. I wonder what happened to them. These canals were for many years a great controversial subject. The photograph in this article does not show them, but this is perhaps explained by the fact that this photo was taken with infrared light film. It may be that the savants at Mount Palomar would like to explain this. It is of questionable value that the writer interjected such a material angle as real estate. It seems it would have been wise to confine the remarks within the domain of science and leave this problem up to some of our great promoters in that future day of landing. It might also be that the Martians would resent our tearing up their planet. It is also probable that in that future day, when man does have space travel to Mars, he will be able to take his wife or loved ones along. Landing there will be somewhat like taking a plane to a far-off city on this planet. On arriving on Mars, the spaceship will be taxied into a huge airlock. The passengers will disembark and find hotels and accommodations in a similar fashion as on Earth. Assuming of course that such factors as freedom from germ life, health, adaptability to lower air pressures, etc., have been fully compensated for. It is unfortunate indeed that the astronomers of today take such a dim view of the possibility of life on other planets. They should be in a position to know better than anyone else. Does it not seem a bit preposterous to assume that in all the countless billions of suns, star clusters, galaxies, etc., and their associated planetary systems, that Earth and Mars alone are inhabited? Perhaps we should refer to Jesus of Nazareth, when he stated that, "In my Father's house are many mansions." In that distant day when space travel is a reality, let us hope that our men of science are universally schooled in the knowledge of the infinite God, and that we will find in this wisdom an integrated philosophy of life, one which will supply our need and an answer to every problem. In that future day, we will have put aside all our petty quibbling over interpretations. We will find God not only in the heart and mind of man but in everything in this material universe. A word about the author. Just 50 years ago, in a small town in northern Utah, ERNEST L. Norman made his debut into this planet Earth. It was apparent right from the first that he was an unusual child. His mother nearly died in the process of his introduction, because of the abnormally large head. It is said he had the body of an 8-pound child, but weighed over 12 pounds. Before he was hardly 2, he was experimenting with writing, and long before he went to school for the first time, he was quite familiar with the English language, so much so, he was reading his father's library. His father, incidentally, was a very learned man, of royal Norwegian descent and had degrees in law,